Hi. Now we're going to do some Impressionist painting. You did great with the notes on Japanese art and how it influenced the Impressionists. So now we're going to be practicing two different artworks. First one is going to be inspired by Van Gogh. So Vincent van Gogh was a post-impressionist, and this week you have some notes about the post-impressionists, and then you are going to take any one of Vincent van Gogh's sketches and turn it into a watercolor painting. You can get any kind of watercolor. I have some watercolor down here that is actually a set somebody gave me, but you can go to Walmart, Kmart, Target, and get a $3 set of watercolors. And sometimes they come with brushes. Sometimes it's nice to get a little bit better brush. You can also get those at Walmart. And we're going to be doing two paintings. The first one is a sketch based on Van Gogh's drawings. He used to write letters to his brother, Theo, who was an art dealer in Paris. And with his letters, he would often sketch what he would be painting. His brother, Theo, then would wait for the paintings, and with the paintings, he would try and sell them. Sadly, Van Gogh only sold one painting in his whole lifetime, and died at 33. Now, paintings by Van Gogh are in the millions. I think the most ever paid for a painting was a Van Gogh, and it was in the 300 million price range. Poor Van Gogh never got to see how popular his painting became. So, with our first one, it'll be a sketch in your sketchbook or any piece of white printer paper. You're going to be doing a full page, and you get to pick any Van Gogh drawing you want. You get to pick it, and you can pick your own colors. So this is a painting or a sketch in black ink that he would send to his brother Theo. So I get to pick whatever colors I want to use. I could be wild, or I could just be more natural colored. The emphasis is on the brush strokes. The Impressionists were doing scenes from everyday life. So a day at the beach, there were some sailboats in the background, but they really were after catching a moment. And these brush strokes really showed the waves, the breeze in the waves, and how they were curling. That impression of that moment where the wind is hitting the sailboats. So brush strokes are what we're going to be practicing for this sketch. Later, you'll be doing your own landscape, and I'll demo on another video for that. So you don't want to sketch this out. You want to pick a color. You can draw with the paintbrush. So this is a black and white picture. There's blue water, maybe some sand. So I'm going to pick sort of a light orangish color just to sketch out my composition. Now I'm noticing that it's horizontal, so I think I want to turn my sketchbook horizontally. There you go, and there's my paint. And I have a paper towel to clean off my brush between colors. Watercolor is a paint that dries, so it's dry to the touch. All you need to do is add a little water and it reconstitutes. You can mix in the side palette on the lid. The more water, the more transparent and see-through it is. The less water, the more opaque or solid it is. So I watered my orange down because I just want to sketch out the composition. I see a horizon line, and I'm going to do little dots. I see sailboats, which are sort of triangles. And it's very watery, so if I don't like what I did, it's pretty easy to wipe off with a paper towel, and then I can paint over it with a darker color. All right, we've got a little sailboat in the back, and I see it's actually above the horizon line, so I'm already fixing my mistake. There's no erasing in watercolor. You're just going to have to come up with a way. So there's my 3 sailboats, and then there's a tiny one here. They get smaller as they go back in space. We learned about that in perspective when you did your 1-point bedrooms. And then there's sort of a diagonal. I'm looking at the beach, if that's what that is, and I'm seeing a diagonal. So I might take a little bit of blue, put some water in it. Still, I'm working pretty watery, and I'm just going to put that diagonal in there. So I've sketched my scene. Now I really want to start to build up some colors. The Impressionist was often used multiple types of colors. So they'd mix a little blue with blue-green. So I'm going to do some brush strokes like Van Gogh. I'm really looking at how he did it with those brush strokes. There's some curving brush strokes. Maybe I'll pick up a little bit of red in that blue to make sort of purple, because it's my painting. I get to pick what I want. And I'm seeing those brush strokes curving around to show those waves. Maybe even a little more red to really make it purple for the close-up waves. And I'm just having fun making all kinds of brush strokes. You don't have to copy every single brush stroke. It's getting the impression of the scene. I'm imagining the waves. I'm imagining the sound. I'm imagining the breeze blowing. I'm going to get a little bit of blue-green. So blue and yellow make green, but I have more blue, so it's a bluish green. Let's see, I want to put those up here. Boy, that was a dark. Maybe some more yellow to make it more green. That was very yellow. This area is already dry. I can go back over it with some more brush strokes. I think I want to start maybe picking red for my sailboats. So I'm coming back where the sailboat was. And that's my dog scratching his ear. Very nice. Thank you for sharing your noise on this video, Rocket. So now I can see my boat a little better. Maybe I want to make it more darker. But I'm not drawing lines. I'm doing brush strokes. With every new brush stroke, I am creating a vibration that the Impressionists really like to show with their brush strokes. Caught in a moment, passage of time, nothing stays still. So they're really showing that movement with individual brush strokes, and then your eye sort of fills in the details. Now I'm keeping those sails white, but then I want the sailboats a little smaller. And there's an outline here. The more brush strokes, the more detail I'm getting, but it still sort of vibrates as I'm painting. I need some more blue. Again, watercolor is a transparent paint medium, so you can really see through it. The less water, the more solid it's going to look, but I think it works best if you build up light and then go back over it with some dark. I want to build up enough brush strokes behind my sails so I really can see that white sailboat. Littler brush strokes in the background because they're further away. As it comes up closer, I'm going to have bigger brush strokes until I get to the waves up front. Now the waves look in the drawing to be pretty white, so I'm going to leave that the white paper. Looks like another set of waves over here. This should take about a half hour to an hour to paint. Ooh, that got dark. Got some waves over here. And then the example in Canvas actually shows you a finished, I actually think it might be this painting. I can't remember now what I put up there. But you could pick whatever you can find on Van Gogh. Now I have blue skies and blue water, so I really want to change up my blue sky so it looks different. So I'm going to put a little bit of red to make a purple blue, blue violet. So it has more red in it. So my sky, and when I look at the picture, he's got dark clouds and light clouds. Maybe if you've ever seen the famous Starry Night painting, he does swirls. So I'm going to have some artistic license and make some swirls in my sky because it must be a windy day for them to be sailing in. Oh, I like that. That's fun. Now up front, I don't know if this is sand down here or seaweed. It's hard to tell. So I'm going to actually make it green, like there's bushes or something in the front. And we've got some green down here. And really you're just practicing different brush strokes. He's got some dots as well. So maybe these are seafoam green. I think. Now I could keep working on this and working on this. I think you get the idea. Some of these boats in the background don't have as strong a background color or outline. I do want to put a little more detail. So you do see the sailboats. There's a bunch of them back here up against the horizon line. Maybe a little more red in the bottom. And now I'm barely putting any water in my brush, which causes my colors to be more intense. And so this is the Van Gogh practice sketch using watercolors. So the next thing we're going to do is this week you'll be doing the Van Gogh sketch and you'll be looking for some landscapes. The Impressionists would go out into the countryside with backpacks and their paint, and they would go look for landscapes. Last week you all went outside and drew whatever was in your neighborhood, and oh my gosh, those sketches were amazing. I hope you had a lot of fun doing that. But sometimes it's hard to paint outside, and now that it's getting warmer, when I go out into the desert and paint, it gets a little hot. So you have due on Friday 2 landscape pictures. So this is one of the landscapes. My printer has a streak in it and the colors are much brighter. I have this saved on my computer so I can see the colors. But then you have to have a second one. You're combining 2 references. And the reason you do that, as artists, if you just painted this one picture, you're actually stealing somebody else's artwork, because this is a photographer and he wants to make money selling his photographs. So when you're taking 2 references, you can do a combination and then it's unique to you. So I really like the sunset and this cactus, but I like the California poppies all over at the bottom of the desert over here. So I'm going to use this part of my photograph as the sky and one of the cactuses, and then I'm going to use this part of the photograph for the bottom of my painting. And so I'll fill the field with some poppies. All right. The only thing you need to do with these photographs this week is find 2 of them and upload them to Canvas. Next week, in a week from now, you'll start an impressionist painting done from a landscape photograph. So instead of copying an impressionist painting, you're copying a photograph that looks like an impressionist painting. And I'll do a separate demonstration on how to do that and post it later this week. I hope everybody has fun. You can find this YouTube video on Canvas. See you then.